Welcome back to Hello Nigeria. It's time for our first guest here in the studio. Let's talk about the beauty of photography, not just in Lagos and Nigeria, in Africa as a whole. And to do this with us, we have the person of Kadara Enyeasi, who is a photographer, an art curator, and a representative from the Lagos Photo Festival. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So how long have you been into photography?
I've been shooting professionally for 10 years now.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you always know that this was what you wanted to do?
Well, I studied architecture, but before going into the uni, I've been taking pictures. So it just was an offshoot from architectural studies.
For one to say one is a good photographer, is this something that is naturally inborn and then you have to fine-tune the skills? Or is it something that you can learn even if you're not artistic in any way?
I mean, you can always learn it because there's a technical aspect to it. But then when you have the eye for it, it's usually easier for you to understand how to compose, how to expose, and how to frame your image.
So how long does it take for an average person with zero photography knowledge
to learn? A day is good enough. Just a day.
Okay.
A day.
Now, it seems as though that photography is moving from the normal everyday cameras that we see to phone photography. Lots of people, we see them doing series, with the pictures taken on their phone. Do you think that a time will come when we'll totally switch from professional photography with cameras to using our phones?
I don't think that can happen because then the camera is just a tool for photography, just like the brush is a tool for painting. So you have different tools that you can use to express yourself. Especially with photography, I mean, you have iPhonographers, that's what we call them, and they are doing incredible work. What's funny actually is that for this year's Lagos Photo, we have an entry that is going to be showing that he was taking pictures with an iPhone, and they're pretty amazing. Wow. So I mean, it's irrelevant with the tool. It's more about how you present what you're presenting. So be it an iPhone, be it a DSLR, be it a mirrorless camera, you're good to go.
Now let's talk about what makes a photographer a good photographer. What to you are the key qualities that make you say this photographer stands out and is a good photographer?
For me, the major thing I look at in terms of photography is composition. When I see how the image is framed and when I see how it translates from what you're saying, your artist statements, to the real image that I'm looking at, and I see the meeting point, then I realize that you are a good photographer because you know what you want to say, you know how to represent what you want to say. So that's one of the few things that make a good photographer.
Now, you talked about how the picture is framed. I have certain people who are very bad photographers that are watching this show, some of them behind the scenes, who help us take pictures with our guests. Please give them some few tips when it comes to taking pictures with your phone. I see that sometimes the headroom is like half of the phone is headroom. And you're wondering, brother, like adjust yourself. My producer for one, shout out to Valentine, he's improving. He used to be the worst photographer ever. So are there any tips when people want to take pictures with their phone, at least little tips that they can use?
Okay, I mean, for one, you have to know the direction of the lights. That really helps you. So it should always be facing the camera, not backing the camera.
Are you listening, Valentine? Okay, so facing the person, the object should be facing the lights.
The object should be facing lights. So the lights source should be coming from this direction. The person should be standing in this direction. So the photographer is going to be behind the light or in front of the light, not obstructing the lights from hitting the person. Then your level, you're talking about the headroom. So he has to bring it down to a level that is both flattering to the person in the picture, the subject, and is both flattering to the space.
Which one is advisable, from top or from bottom?
No, it depends. Some people that are actually quite tall, and you need to take it from the top, so it gets them at a good level. Some people are short, and you need to take them at a lower level, so it don't get their body. So it makes them, it gives the illusion of them being tall. So it's just one of those things.
I'm hoping that by the time this show is over, and I invite these people, not just him, these people to the studio to take pictures, I would be very, very surprised, pleasantly surprised. Okay. Now, we see that the photography industry seems to be, will I call it choked right now? Everybody seems to want to jump into photography. Is that good for us? Is that good business for photographers? We're seeing lots of people every day, this photography, that photography, is that good business because we're seeing competition, or does that reduce the quality because people now go to see the fact that they can't afford a certain amount and then they go for cheaper work?
Well, I mean, it's good in a way because then photography is like the next hottest medium, if not the now hottest medium in terms of art. And the fact that we're being choked doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just actually gives more room for the good people to shine out and for the bad people to remain in their zone.
That perspective.
Exactly. So, I mean, in terms of photography in Africa today, you'll be amazed at the amount of good photographers that are out there shooting various series, various genres of photography, are doing amazing work. And that's one of the things that we're doing at Lagos Photo this year. We are highlighting people that are doing the best work. They are talking about the best subject matter in relation to our theme this year, which is Regimes of Truth.
Beautiful. I've always wanted to be a photographer, like not professionally for fun because I write. So I always wanted to take professional pictures to follow my write-ups. Now let's talk about your Lagos Photo Festival.
Great.
What's it about? When is it happening?
Lagos Photo is, like we say, is the first and only international photography festival in Nigeria. It happens once every year. This year is kicking off on the 25th of November.
This is not the first edition.
This is the 8th edition. It's been in 8 years. And what's so interesting about this Lagos Photo this year is the theme and the subject matter. Like I said, is Regimes of Truth. With this year's Lagos Photo, we're trying to investigate what is true and what is not. So we're bringing together a unique selection of photographers, both from Nigeria and from overseas, to showcase work that actually investigates on what is seen as the truth. And we're actually bringing out our theme from various subject matters from past writers from the 19th century, 20th century. So we have Achebe, we have Huxley, we have Foucault. So we are focusing on the ideas of truth, especially in this day and age of Donald Trump and alternative facts.
Exactly. I know, right?
So we're actually focusing on these things, and we're trying to investigate what can be perceived as the truth, especially with photography, being that it's a medium where people can easily tell lies. You're not in the picture, you're not in the frame, you don't know what happens. The person takes the picture, the person tells the story. That might not be the real story that the person saw.
In fact, the kind of explanation I want to give to that is you're probably a size 12, but which is not a bad size at all. It's a beautiful size. But you want to intimidate other people. You edit your pictures to make you look like a size 8. So much lie is going on. Please, where is it happening? When is it happening?
Lagos Photo is kicking off at the Wings building on Ozumba Mbadiwe, the new Wings complex. It's starting by 6 o'clock on Saturday, 25th. And it runs for a month. So we have scheduled lots of activities. What's even good this year is that we're having a portfolio review that is sponsored by National Geographic. So the winner of that portfolio review takes home $10,000.
Beautiful.
We've also partnered with Magnum Photos in London. So they're giving us photos from Bruno Barbie, who covered the Biafran War.
Okay.
And also, we're also partnering with CBAC, Center for Black and African Civilization. They hosted the first Act 77 festival, which is 40 years, I believe, this year. So we're also having those pictures shown as well.
Social media handles that people can find out information
from. You can follow us on Lagos Photo Festival on Instagram, AAF_Lagos on Instagram as well.
All right, then. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I wish you all the best. And I hope to pop in. Is it free for all?
Oh, yes, it's free for all.
Beautiful. I hope to pop in and take pictures.
Thank you so much.
And get to see other professional photographers do their work.
Thank you so much.
All right. We've had the pleasure of this, speaking about the 8th Lagos Photo Festival. We'll go on a quick break. We'll play a beautiful song by Cobham. So when we return, our guest, Debbie, will be seated on the set with me, the latest Guinness World Record breaker. And I'll tap some anointing from her.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.